Secretary of IPSF African Office 2024-2025. According to the voting results, 11 voted for the adoption of the report, 2 against it, and 1 abstained from voting. So, Secretary Kumalo, congratulations, your report has been accepted by the for now, you can continue with the next screen. Also, you are able to use your digital devices. So,
motions committee. So it's just an announcement to the floor. If in case you're the only delegate in your member organization currently and you need to leave the floor, you have to announce to the chairperson of the Regional Assembly, and then if you're not sure you'll be back by the time we're voting, you have to delegate to another country until you come back. Then the chair will need to.
So we are now going to continue with the adoption or the reception of the report. And the motion says this reporting of IPSF Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the report of Mr. Nicodemus National Chelera, chairperson of the 13th IPSF African Political Symposium 2025. Mr. Nicodemus, you are going to be given 5 minutes to present the report. After 5 minutes, you'll be escorted outside the voting room. We will proceed with the closing discussion, and then after we can do the voting.
Alright, so while this is working on the technical, I'm presenting my report. So I'm Nicodemus National Chelera, current chairperson of the 18th IPSF AFPS, hosted in Harare, Zimbabwe. I appreciate all of you for coming, not only to the symposium, but making the whole event a success. So besides the economical challenges that we faced, we managed to pull out over 14 partners and sponsors from Zimbabwe, Zambia, and South Africa for the AFPS. From South Africa, we managed to partner with farmers. How we managed to establish this partnership was through a well-consolidated roadmap developed, as well as the concept note in the project proposal. I also realized that when you've got quality documentation, which is evidence-based and has got quality information, it's easy to pull out sponsors. I also managed to attend the 82nd FIP World Congress in South Africa in Cape Town last year. That is where I met farmers and quite a number of other partners. So in total, we managed to raise about 15,300, if my memory serves me right, for sponsorship outside the funding that you guys are provided, with 1 platinum sponsor, gold sponsor, including the University of Zimbabwe, Harare Institute of Technology and NatFam, giving us their services for free. And also, another critical thing that we did was we did a team building session with our reception committee. So we managed to make sure that we wanted to capacitate everything. I've heard compliments that our logistics team is working quality, so that we make sure that we collect at the airport, we try to do all the transit. I was even involved in the logistics committee as one of the heads, which has also helped us to make sure that everything is a success. I've also talked of strategic partnerships. So we are still, even until today, while there are still emails that we're still sorting out. So even during our PSP, we might see some other sponsors now popping in, because everyone likes last minute, but we want everything that we can get to make sure that the event is a success. I know during my report last year in Sierra Leone, we reported that we might not be able to go to Victoria Falls due to finances, but we want to let you know and be rest assured that we are now going to Victoria Falls because we've also managed to establish some other partners. Then regarding an organization engagement, I managed to do a tour to Kenya. I met with the World Congress team. I did a tour to Uganda. I met with the team there. I did a tour to South Africa. And I also did some online webinars with Ghana and quite a number of member organizations, even CAPSA and quite a number of them. This was all to try and mobilize funds. And I'll tell you for a fact that initially we were expecting 50 delegates, like I mentioned. But as of today, I think our delegation is now over 100, which is something that we count as a success. LIT was sold out. We even had an overflow of over 45 people that we had to accommodate, and I hope that all of you were well accommodated for. So this is a huge success, not only to us as the AFPS, but even as the region itself. Then we move to scientific events. Though yesterday the event was packed, we managed to have about 6 post presenters. We managed to present researches and work. So it's something that we also want to promote within AFRO. So it was also something that even in visa, the person was doing all those visa consultations, working with my immigration and all of that, to make sure that each and every one of you got their visas on time. Even those were challenges, they would call me. Sometimes I would refer to someone, but in the background I'll be trying to work on it. Even those who applied for emergency visa 2 or 3 days before coming, all of them got their visas. So I think there was only one speaker who didn't manage to get their visa, which is Dr. Joe from Liberia, but I'm sure the Liberian team knows that all of us tried our best to try that. And also another great success that we had was we had a pool of speakers coming from different countries, from South Africa, from Ghana. I'm sure you saw the president of the society, Dr. Matoe from Zambia, even guys from WHO like Dr. Gaza, and even from Oxford University, and other guys who also helped us to join. Though we even wanted to expand to even other regions, not only the African region, we tried our best, but there were some limitations, but we hope that with the smooth transition that I'll have with the next upcoming chairperson, we'll be able to facilitate all of that. So what I'm very pleased about is that we need to make sure that each and every one of you will try and feel comfortable. We know there are things that are sometimes within outside our control, but for everything that was within our control, we even tried. Even I'll tell you for a fact that even some meals were not even planned for. But when people will complain, we'll try and adjust and see, okay, this service provider comes this other day. So there's a lot of logistics that we're trying to do, but I'm happy that much of it managed to be a success. So I'm pleased that my report and my team, it's not only my efforts, but it was a team effort. I'm sure you've seen that even sometimes when I'm absent, there's someone who's running around. But one thing that I tried to do was each and every committee, I was very present. I'm sure now I've learned graphic designing. I'm one of the guys who work on that.
5 seconds. 2 minutes. Second.
So I'm one of the guys who even worked on designing the lead mandate journal, creating the whole workflow and sending it to the designers, even some of the posters, working in close proximity with Ms. Hope. So it made my work easier because even one of my team was absent, I would easily chip in. Even in terms of logistics, when my team would always feel like there is a gap, we would always try and see how best I can come in and try to assist. I'm sure most of the guys who arrived around between 12 a.m. and 4 p.m. I was one of the people who would come and pick you up at the airport, even during the day, because I wanted to make sure that my team would understand what it is to be a leader and how to always be in front and not at the back. And also, let's move further. I think the last part that I would want to touch is on my travels. I attended the 82nd FIP World Congress. I attended the 2nd Public Health Symposium in Zimbabwe. I am now here to attend the Farmer Connect Africa Conference in Lusaka, Zambia. I'm also planning to attend the 75th WHORC for Africa and the 78th WHO World Assembly. So these are my plans. So I think in the end of a takeover, I plan to hand over the roadmap which I established to the next chairperson. We've already started engaging in trying to let him know the other things that he can pick up from there, because the roadmap has got key performance indicators. So I think one key proposal that I have for the RA is that if they would want to adopt the document, we can formally strategize it and see which key KPIs that we can use to make sure that the next conference will be way better than the one that we have now. Because the whole idea is to make sure that there is continuity and nothing ends where I am. So I think with this is my report.
Thank you, Nicodemus. We are now going to continue with the comments. So in case you have a comment, please let us know by filling the form. We have currently a new comment from Dennis Mbubua, Kefsaki.
Dennis Kefsaki, just a clarification. You spoke and you talked about having challenges in sponsorship. Can you elaborate on that? And did you have any backup in case the sponsors would have backed out all of them?
Okay, so the first thing that happened was our budget had a deficit of around 43,000. That is if we're going to give you the best experience that I even had in my head 2 years ago when we did it in Ghana. But then as we moved towards the event, I had about 4 different plans. I think for those who came for LIT, first plan, then there was the second plan. So I came up with 4 different plans, 4 different budgets. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. The worst case scenario being Plan D. So each time one plan would fail, I would quickly switch to the second plan and adjust the budget accordingly. So I guess the greatest strength that we had, like I highlighted, quality documentation, quality communication, constant feedbacks. I'm sure Sano can tell. He's the one, Sano and the 2 people that are copying emails. Every Monday, every Wednesday, they will wake up with about 60 emails that I'll try and send, because I reached out to about 120 companies, even all that exhibited at the FIP World Congress in South Africa. So the whole idea was to try and reach out. But one thing I've realized is some of them might tell you now that you're not able to partner, but the more they see your work, the more they see the flyers, the pictures, the documentation, what some of them will then try and come back door and say, okay, we've seen your event, let's have a meeting and let's try and discuss. And I guess the greatest strength now was in collaboration, because even our platinum schools, that they only had to send the funds, I think about 2 or 3 days ago, but we had to continuously follow up with them. Even while you were at the airport trying to locate where is someone, you also need to try and call them, have Google meetings with them, how far are we, how best can we follow up. So it's like a big job that you need to do, but make sure that your documents are quality and all of that. But I'm glad that at the end of the day, we managed to pull this whole thing to come there. I guess the greatest strength is having different plans and having quality documents. Don't only rely on one plan or one idea, but at least have different options whenever you want to do something.
Thank you. We have another new comment from Sengetai, PSA Zimbabwe.
Times connects PSA Zimbabwe. So, as part of members and someone who witnessed me cause take from the time that we pledged to host, I would just like to say thank you to our chairperson for his outstanding leadership and dedication to make this conference a huge success.
Thank you. We have another new comment from Dave from excuse me if I don't read correctly your name. France UL Nigeria.
Thank you. Noelle Abrania is my name from FAMSA Liberia. I want to say thank you for your hard work. You did extremely well, especially us coming here. But I also want to ask as to whether you took into considerations that you had people from different countries, especially when it comes to the different kinds of food. Because on a serious note, we may have a problem with food, and I think I've actually 1-2 times that there should be a little change. If we can have our own food, we can have love. So I want to ask whether you took into considerations that you have other people from other countries that you can work on.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's something that we might have overlooked, considering based on precedents. Most of the time, we visit different countries who try their dishes. I remember when we visited Salon, there was crane and some stuff, so we thought maybe if we can also serve you with our own dishes, you would love it. But however, your consideration has been taken into account, but it's just that some of the payments had already been made to the service provider prior, so some of the things we might not be able to change, but like I mentioned, for our international night, which is tonight, either our lunch will delay or even there's someone who's working around it, either our lunch will delay or we'll join the lunch and the supper together. It depends with how the logistics is happening outside, because myself, I'm now in the RA and I'm not able to run around outside. But might be less assured that you taste our local dishes, maguru, mabonzo, sadezio, which is something that we have here. And even tomorrow we're going to go for sada and gango. I don't know for those who know it, or high spirits to those who have known or heard about it. So it's something that we're also going to try and implement. But one thing that might be very hard is to find someone who cooks quality jollof that you're used to. Because you might ask them to prepare, but it may not be the way you even like it, because we are also not that talented to cook it. I don't know if I've managed to package it well, but thank you very much for your consideration. And I think this also serves as a recommendation to the next host, so that at least maybe you can hear ideas from people what they want to eat, and can also guide the direction of service. But thank you very much for that.
Is there any other comments? So in case your name is not on the Google form, you can feel free to use the finger move. Yes.
So,
Can you increase your voice?
and I'll be able to be speaking here. So, she mentioned about food, and the registration forms for the LPS, you included if anyone has an allergic reaction, which you included. Some of us added it. You came, but still included, and we got allergic reactions out of it.
Okay.
So, I'll work on that issue as time goes on.
Okay. All right. Just to comment on that, but thank you very much for that. I think maybe the only challenge was even the recommendations you gave us, we gave to the service provider. I'm sure even you realized at welcome night, there was even a table where people who don't eat pork would also go to that table. So I think sometimes when you see like the meal or the dish that is being served, if that fits a particular instance, I'll try and make a plan. I'm not sure who from Kenya, I think Suzanne can testify, told me that they don't eat meat on the welcome night and I had to just sauce fries for them. So please don't just hold it inside. Come and tell me, I will make a plan. Possibly sometimes when you reach out to my team, they might overlook it because they might not see the importance of it, but I do, because I'm the one who included that in the registration form. So in any meal, wherever you see that there might be a challenge, you can reach out and then I'll try and see how best I can assist. But apologies for that one, and we'll take it on.
Before you continue, my question to you is that you are saying that in case you have a question, you have to come directly to you. Are you going to be available everywhere we are all the time?
Okay, majority of the time, I try to make myself available. Some of these people know I'll actually follow them whenever they've got a deal with me. So yeah, I am available. Only unless, if let's say, I'm in close discussion in RA and the chairperson doesn't allow me to hold my phone, I might not respond.
Is that okay with you? Another comment before you proceed? Okay. Yes, Dodi?
Sorry, I still tried filling the form twice, but
Raise your voice.
yeah, Dolly, written here. I've tried filling the form twice, but it's not. That's why I'm using the sign. So this is just to help the others, the other countries that will be hosting quite some years to come. And there was a form that says room allocation, if you like to be paired with someone, or if you like to be alone. I feel like this year you need to take that into consideration. Well, I guess there's a whole lot of things in relation to being a chairperson. So yes, we forgive you, but I feel like the upcoming countries that are going to do this, you should try and at least look at the forms that we filled. As he was also saying, he brought to my attention about the allergies and all that. Hence, we will not forgive you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I think what I observed from our side, apologies for that to you and to everyone else for that one. But I guess the greatest challenge that we faced with our team is that most people didn't pay on time. And coming up with the final list of people who are actually coming was a bit hard. So allocation was done during LIT, and the same people I'm not even the one who did allocation, and the same people who did allocation, because we could only allocate someone who is arrived. Because it was even hard for us to, based on someone, I'll give an example. Someone will tell you over the phone that I'm coming, they don't fill in the flight schedule, they don't pay, they expect to pay on arrival. So we cannot count on that person. So room allocation was done based on that like flight schedule and all of that. But then there were also cases when one person would say, let's say I'll say I want to sleep with Sano. Sano says he wants to sleep with Kevin. Kevin says he wants to sleep with Yao. So in that particular instance,
Are you people gay in this country?
So in that instance, I am personally the one who gave the liberty to the person who was allocating to just use their own discretion and try and see how it can work. But then I understand the inconveniences, of course, but I also gave everyone the liberty to say, let's say you're allocated at Ireland and you've got someone you can switch with a purpose, you can do it. But the challenge now was, it then affected us even financially, because I'll give an example. With Ireland, there is actually a room now that we have been billed twice for 2 days, and there is no one who is there. Because possibly one person was staying there instead of 2 people. But for them to make money, they would like to ask, all the rooms have got 2 people, but the room actually has no one in the meantime. So it then took us, like when you hear Josh asking, is there anyone sleeping alone and all of that, it's like we're now trying to find ways of managing the funds and all of that, because at the moment I'll tell you, all these service providers want to bill us even money that, because they think we've got the money, but we're actually trying to, to make everything work. So I guess my recommendation also to the rest of the team is that when we register, for the sake of the next FPS chairperson, please pay on time. It helps them to refine every kind of information, because data sometimes is not easy to integrate. Because I'll give an example, even t-shirt size. Now it's very hard for us to really use the Google form and do the t-shirts. Well, the t-shirts were delivered 2 days ago, just before you guys came. So it was even hard for the guys to then check, so what size does Nico wear? So it was then just done randomly. But then in case you don't fit in the t-shirt you were given in, either it's too big or too small, you can always reach out and then we see how best we can change. So I guess for smooth flow, from what I observed from my end, I think when things are done on time, it's easier to accommodate every kind of, disruption that we might face or have. But well taken care of, and apologies for that.
Yeah. Before we proceed, we've got the floor heaters in this room. That's floor heaters.
Yes.
But they are not working.
Yeah. So with the heaters, yeah, I think we can. I think the only challenge is that yesterday there was a complaint for heaters. We even made provisions for them. But then now when I was trying to plug them in, I realized that the sockets and the items are not fitting. But I've already asked someone to go and look for those and come and plug in. Hopefully by then, none of us will get
frozen.
Yeah. I think I'll just make a follow-up just after close discussion.
So, thank you.
So the list, that's one complaint. I submitted through a Google form, but there's not been
Is
acknowledged.
it a new comment or direct comment?
There's a new comment.
Okay, we are not starting with the direct comment. So we have a direct comment from Rosetta Mboum, Kapsa Cameroon.
Rosetta Mboum, Kapsa Cameroon. I was just talking about the release now, and that's what I want to appreciate about Nico and his team. concerning the visa and any other problem that we have. It was always available 24/7, 10 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., texting is going to reply. So I just want to appreciate that about him.
Thank you. We got another direct comment from Joseph Desire, Stefan here, Burkina Faso.
Yes, Joseph Desire, Stefan, Burkina Faso. I want also to appreciate the job his team and him are doing. But I really appreciate it, the care you have dedicated on us. But I want, like I was saying yesterday, to make sure that for the next year, every chairperson or every worker keeps following the line. If you have timeline, just following. We had a deadline for submission. Those who are not submitting on time should not be taken on. Means that you should have we shall work with those who you have at the time that the deadline was. Okay. So I mean, even for the older days, just follow the timeline.
Oh, thank you. All right. So I'm sure all of us have heard this recommendation. I'm sure it's for the house, though it was directed to me, but it's for the house. That let's try and be timely in our preparations to make sure that everything is perfect. So yeah, it's a recommendation for the house, and yeah, it actually helps people in like planning things well. Because I'll tell you for a fact, even during LIT, I was shocked to, I won't mention names, though, and I understand them. I was shocked to just receive a call, bro, I'm at the airport. Like, I was trying to figure out how can, but you know, we still had to try and do reservations, look for B&Bs, try and, you know, all of that was all sudden because the number we were expecting and the number that then came, and the date sometimes would shift. Because there are some people who started their activities on the 27th. So if someone arrives on the 27th at 1 a.m., it means that person can only check in at 2 p.m. But at the same time, it's hard for us to tell that person that you have to pay for an overnight that you've stayed. They will tell you, I didn't stay overnight. I arrived at the B&B at 2 a.m. So who was going to cater for those expenses? So there are some things like that happen behind the scenes. So me and my team, I think every day we have about 3 or 4 meetings trying to solve and firefight some of these situations as they come. Even during LIT when you get that overflow. Initially, the LIT venue that people were supposed to sleep was going to be very affordable, but then something happened along the line and we switched to plan B. So when we then switched, it cost us a little bit of some money, but then there are some people whom we could accommodate, like, you know, not for free, but at a fee, but still it's hard to charge someone because already the $100 might not be able to suffice for 3 days, including the logistics, the running around costs, and the daily costs that we could operate. So I think I would want to appreciate his comment, and I guess for the future, this is a recommendation to all of us. I think when you're timely, it saves us everything, even including starting time and closing time for all our sessions. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We have another new comment from Chizoba Antonia Ogu, PSFGH Ghana.
Chizoba Ogu, PSFGH Ghana. I want to comment deeply. Reading the reports from last year's RA, PSFGH Ghana recommended collaborating with airlines, and we took that into consideration. So thank you for that. Also, I remember during the planning phase, you were recommending coming to Ghana to speak to the students. Unfortunately, you couldn't come physically, but you had a lot of webinars with our students, which encouraged a lot of students to come. As you can see, we had over 30 delegates from Ghana, so I also commented on that. And so far, so good. I know nothing can be perfect, to be honest. There have been some issues here and there, but generally, the program has been successful. It has been comfortable. You've been very welcoming. So, yeah, a big kudos to you. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a new comment from Vivian Bonauta, RPC Rwanda.
Vivian Bonauta, RPC Rwanda. I want to appreciate the effort and the way the exception committee that's why, for me personally, I want to take this time to appreciate Nico on the whole team, despite the fact that what I have seen, the team is small. There are not many people take care of these individuals, but other staffs personally I appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah, I think now we have no other comments or if any comment. We are now going to proceed with the closed discussion.
Check the same thing here. Still, it's not going to acknowledge my comment that I submitted to the report.
You submit.
Yes.
Do it again. Do it again.
I'll just pass it. It's still about acknowledging Nico's effort. And I had the opportunity to actually see it firsthand because I also arrived very early in the morning, like 3 a.m. But the way his team came to meet us at the airport, enthusiastic, even though we could tell that they were really, really, really tired. This shows that he was very intentional about the planning and also tried as much as possible to be available and make sure that everything understood. So thank you very much.
Mr. Chairperson, I think Nicodemus' head is getting so big, he's about to fall down. So if you can have like a pillar behind him, so he falls down.
So we are now about to go to the closed discussion. I will ask one of our scrutineers to escort Nicodemus out of the voting room. They also ask Nicodemus, so in case you are out, feel free to contact those people because they will get involved. And then I will ask also to close the streaming. No one is allowed to use any other electronic device.